Welcome back to another episode of. Bro, I got it. For real, I got it. It's just good. I got it. For real. Hey. Welcome back to another episode of. Fuck. All right, I got it. Damn, dude. Okay, I knew you were going to say some shit. I got it.
I was thinking this shit in my head.
I got it.
Like, we gotta record.
Let me not look at Albert's ass reclining and shit.
Cozy, bro. I told you.
Look. All right, I got it.
Cheeked up on Wednesday.
Welcome back to another episode of Opinionated Podcast. I'm your co-host Cam Theory, along with my bro. Come on.
That was his fault.
Oh my god.
You didn't see what he did you?
Yeah, he fucking Welcome back to another episode of Opinionated Podcast. I'm your co-host Cam Theory, along with my great friend with that fire hoodie on. He's trying to match me today. Carlos Mojica. So today we're going to get into, sports. The draft is tonight for the NBA draft. When you'll be watching this, people have already got currently picked. We're going to cover everything going into this weekend along with
the whole draft
NFL.
will be over when they'll be watching this. What do you mean?
Yeah, whatever. You know what I meant. College football and just any sports that are coming up this weekend. So without further ado, we're going to jump into this. So what's up with I
just want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What would you do with $50 million?
$50 million? What would I do? Man, you don't even want to hear. One, I'm going to a strip club, probably. Just because I've never been there.
You're a degenerate.
And then, I'm going to get me a boat, a nice little super aeronautique on the water, give me a little lake house, give me a couple toys, and then I'll save the money, invest it, stuff like that. But I got to splurge a little bit. 50 mil, you know how much money that is? Like,
yeah.
If you're not going to splurge, then you're not living life correctly.
Someone offered you 50 mil.
Yeah.
Would you take it?
For what, though? Like, just because? Up front? Like, they were just like, here's 50 mil, like, just for no reason?
I mean, if you're a corner in the NFL and they offered you $50 million, would you take it?
For a team?
Yeah.
It depends. Like, if I'm, that guy and I'm balling, and if I already made a lot of money from endorsements and contracts, and if I can maybe go to another team and get a ring for my legacy to, like, maybe put me into that Hall of Fame status, then it kind of just depends on your situation. Like, if you're making, like, 30, 35 mil, I feel like at that point,
So you already know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, right? I do. So you think? So what's up with that? You think he should take it, or you think he should stay with Houston?
Mil, bro.
I mean, like I said, James Harden is already super paid though, and like you're James Harden, right? And it's like you haven't been able to win in Houston. He's been there for a while. Like he's been there since like 2013 or something like that. Like he's been there for a long time.
I think it's 2013.
Yeah. So he's been there for a while. They've had other superstars like Chris Paul, Westbrook, etc. They haven't been able to win, so it's like you have opportunity. And he's just right now. He's just. I don't know.
I feel like if it was anybody but Chris Paul and Westbrook, I feel like it would have been different. Like, I feel like those are 2 point guards you can't play.
Well, I just think he's also
can't play with
ball centric too. I
heard like people have said Chris Paul is like mean to his teammates and stuff, and like Westbrook is just like James Harden. They both want the ball. They both want the shot. Mm-hmm. Like they both want to be that guy. So it's like I feel like with those two is a little difficult. Mm-hmm. But going because he wants to go to the Nets, and it's like going to the Nets. It's like you got Kyrie, who may not be 100% healthy the whole season, and you got Kevin Durant, who's coming off of an injury,
an Achilles injury too. Nobody has been 100% off that.
Because who was the last person? Boogie?
Yeah.
Boogie was the last person to come off.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was the last person to come off an Achilles injury. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he hasn't been the same since that.
Absolutely not.
Really in any sport, like if you come off an Achilles injury.
Like that was really
Terrell Suggs.
Kobe started his downfall.
Terrell Suggs was another one.
Suggs. I'm trying to think of any major football players that have had that. I think it's more of a basketball related injury, I feel like.
Terrell Suggs is the most recent one for
football.
For football that I know. But Achilles injury is no joke. So that's why I'm like, if he does go to the Nets, it's not, in my mind, it's not a guaranteed they're going to win. You just see Kyrie, Kevin Durant, James Harden on a roster. Mm-hmm. But what's Kevin Durant going to be like, and is Kyrie going to stay healthy?
Yeah.
That's a nasty, that's a nasty three. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like, is it going to be that 3?
Well, I also feel like, too, they're so, like, Kyrie and, like, KD is fine. I think KD's fine not playing with the ball in his hands. Like, he can, like, he's already shown playing with, like, Clay and Curry and Golden State, like, he can just be that guy and score. And he's also better than James Harden and Kyrie, so it's really up to them if they're going to let KD be the guy. Because, like, Curry and Clay, like, they let KD be the guy, you know, in Golden State. Like, they, like, kind of –
Do you think James is like that, though? I feel like he's not.
I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like
he's not.
I feel like there's a
like he wants to be the guy.
Like, even though Chris Paul and Westbrook have seen like the problems in Houston, like all smoke you know what I mean? Like all fire starts from somewhere. Like that's not all on them as well. Like it's definitely two sides of both story. And it's like if James wants to be the guy, maybe he feels like he can't win with them, and maybe he feels like he can win with Kyrie and KD because they have rings. But it's like, you're going to have all these superstars on the ball. Like, it could not work. Like, we just saw the Clippers. Like, that team was super good, and they didn't have chemistry all year. Like, they couldn't win. It's like, I really feel like it takes a very special player like a LeBron or someone like that. Even Curry, like, or Dwayne Wade. Like, when you look at the Heat, like, when Dwayne Wade.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, like, when Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and LeBron all assembled, like, Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade realized, like, it was time to let LeBron, like, take over and be the guy. Like, they're still super good and we're superstars, but you got to, like, kind of take that step back if you want something like that to work, because you all can't be, like,
the guy.
You know what I mean? And they're all going to want, their numbers. Like, this man, James Harden's been averaging 30 for, like, the last 5 seasons. So.
And they're all going to – with that team, I just feel like there's not enough shots to go around.
Yeah. I agree.
But I also thought about that about Golden State, but there was.
And that's what I think. I think, like, two, coach, like, they got Steve Nash as their coach. First time ever coaching for the Nets. So it's like, how's that going to work, you know? And Kyrie, there was an interview that surfaced that he was like, you know, he didn't really agree with the Steve Nash situation, like them getting him as a coach. Like, he didn't really, like, care for it.
How do you – I just feel like yeah, he was nasty. But it's like, I just feel like you have to start at, like, assistant coach or something. Do you know what he was doing before this?
Nah, I think, well, he actually was working for, like, ESPN FC. Because he used to be there on there all the time, like the soccer. Like,
he's a soccer commentator.
Yeah, he's a soccer analyst and shit.
Yeah.
Like, he used to always be on there.
What?
Yeah. So it's
I know, but I'm saying, like.
And Steve Nash is, like, one of the greatest point guards ever. So, like, obviously, he can just get a job. Like, he's a 2-time MVP. Like, he's validated. But it's like, I don't know, like, with coaching and stuff, and especially with Kyrie seeming the way he was about it, it's like, did he really want him to, you know, to be the coach? And it seems like KD might have went behind his back and things like that. And now you look at the James Harden deal, it's like, if you put it in Kyrie's perspective, he was the first one at Brooklyn. So does Brooklyn get KD without Kyrie? Probably not. So now it's like, if I'm Kyrie, I'm like, I might be feeling a kind of way, like, I'm the whole reason this is getting assembled, and now, like, I feel like they're doing stuff. I don't know, like, I'm just assuming, but I feel like they could be doing stuff without, like, his approval, and, like, KD is, like, orchestrating everything. So I don't know.
I feel that, but in that situation, I personally think KD's the bigger name over Kyrie.
Easily.
So you're gonna want what KD wants.
You're gonna do what he
because
says.
KD's going to bring you more money just off of jersey sales, in my opinion.
And
he's
just the better player. KD is arguably the best.
I think he's the best scorer of all time.
And, well, yeah, he can do everything.
He can literally everything.
And he's literally a 7-foot person that can dribble, shoot like a guard.
He can post up, head range. Yeah.
I agree.
Three from anywhere.
Right now, I mean, besides like LeBron playing at the level and career and like longevity he's had in his career, I would say KD is the best player in the world when he's healthy. Like, him and LeBron, like, are right there, and like, they're neck and neck.
I don't know, because Kawhi can still score from anywhere as well.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say.
And he's a defender as well.
But I'm not going to say Kawhi is better than LeBron, especially not after what I've seen this year.
Well, I'm just talking about the best player in the world.
Yeah, but
It's up for debate.
He's not better
for sure.
than LeBron. Yeah, it's up for debate, but he's not.
I mean,
he's not
better. I don't know.
After what I saw this year, no, he's not better. LeBron, you saw what they did to that Nuggets team. He's not better. He's just not better.
It's up for debate.
They had a 3-1 lead and lost. I'm not going to say he's better. I mean,
But at the end of the day, it's still – you still have that player, but it's still a team game.
Yeah.
Like –
But nobody's elevated a team like LeBron has in his career.
Yeah, but there was also – I feel like on that team that it couldn't stop LeBron and Anthony Davis. Like, their guards are poo.
So you're telling me –
Lakers guards are poo.
Okay, so you're telling me Kawhi –
And then you had – Paul George, who wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. Yeah, so it's like
he wasn't looking like playoff P or whatever he gave his name. You can't give yourself a nickname and not be good.
So it's like I can't say he's not as good, but I can't say he's better. I'm just saying it's up for debate.
Yeah.
Just because he can score from anywhere, like Kevin Durant, and he can stop anybody on defense. He can lock down with the Spurs. He was locking down LeBron, and with every team he's scored from anywhere, post up, mid range, 3-point. He can dribble. He can drive. He can finish. He can do it all.
Yeah, the only reason I'm just not gonna say that is just because I've seen LeBron elevate having Dellavedova as his second best player on the team. Like Kawhi's not doing that. Like after what I just see what he did with the Clippers.
But he's elevated the Spurs. He's elevated the Raptors
for sure. But LeBron's done it.
Like
his whole career.
He won a ring with the Raptors.
Yeah, but I'm just saying LeBron's done this his whole career, and the Raptors. The
second
still a
best
good
player on that team was who?
Kyle Lowry. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still this year, like they still were good without him. Like they were like the second best team in the East.
But they didn't do anything.
They won like their first playoff series. I think they lost the same round Kawhi and them lost in the second. Kawhi and them didn't even go to Western Conference Finals because the Nuggets went and played the Lakers.
Yeah, because they lost the Lakers.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not putting Kawhi over there above. Like he's good, but like LeBron and KD, like they're different. I would say Kawhi is right there. I'd say Kawhi because I wouldn't say Kawhi's not even better than Curry to me.
I don't know, bro.
That man
Curry can't even defend. He can shoot threes.
It doesn't matter when you're shooting like that. That man's the best shooter ever.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. Like Kawhi can still score from anywhere.
Yeah, but Curry is like
anywhere,
and his defense was not that good this year. Like he was getting like when they play LeBron and stuff, he was getting kind of like he's getting.
I just
busted.
feel like that's because of they had
the two
like the
best
sitting out there he was doing
defenders since Jordan and Pippen.
What are they calling it when they sit out?
That's his fault though. Like he's sitting out doing load management and he's younger than LeBron. Like I'm not like you can't tell me
it's because of his injury, but I think that's why. Like when you don't play like that, as we said in our last episode.
Yeah, there's no chemistry for him.
Yeah, there's no chemistry for him, and then your body's not used to it.
And then they had COVID. Like they weren't playing for like three months. Like yeah, they just didn't mesh well. But we'll see what happens this year because they got Tyronn Lue's their coach now. Yeah. So
what do you think about? I mean, it's kind of drifting in a different direction, but another big thing in the NBA besides James Harden was the Chris Paul trade. Yes. And today,
playing with Devin Booker, shout out Key Smiles.
and today they had Al Horford trade.
The worst trade I've ever seen in my life. Besides the D-Hop and Texans trade, even though it's a different sport, them trades are both up there. Those trades suck.
Yeah, the Texans should have never traded.
That trade's terrible.
D-Hop. Anyways, how do you feel about the Suns' chances now?
I think they'll make the playoffs. It's very, 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 very hard to tell just because the West is so deep. I mean, you just look at every team. Like, the Warriors are going to be back. Like, they're going to be cold again. Like, Curry.
I don't know. There's another report. You saw the report about Klay Thompson?
I still think they'll make it if Curry's healthy all year. I think they can make it. Because I had going into next year, like, I know we'll probably do our pre-NBA seeding, but I had them being like a 4th or 3rd seed if everyone's healthy. They're that good, bro, and they were good before that. Like
I don't know,
Dallas is gonna be good.
Dallas is gonna be good. The Lakers will be good.
Is gonna be good again.
Denver's gonna that's 4 teams that I don't see them beating. Portland with Trevor Ariza is gonna be good. So that's 5 teams I really can't see them beating.
I mean, I don't think the Thunder will make the playoffs again, so they might take their spot. I mean, they lost Chris Paul.
I don't think they're gonna be 3rd or 4th. I'd say that much.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think.
Anyways, we'll they're getting off
topic, but I think the Suns. Well, I'm just trying to go into like the teams in the West. Like, you know, it depends on what happens in this draft. There's rumors of, D'Angelo Russell didn't he get traded to the Timberwolves?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can make it. Like that team's kind of good. Like they have Cat and stuff like that. So like they're not bad. I mean, you know, there's like the Rock. I don't know. It's like there's teams like if James Harden leaves the Rockets, so much stuff's gonna get shaken up in the West, and like people are gonna be in the East now, and the West. So
the Rockets.
I think they do.
The Rockets barely made it with him.
Yeah, I think they
won't make it at all.
I think the Suns will make it. I do. I think they'll make
if they
I think they'll be
if
like
they
a
make it, it'll be like a 7 or 8,
6 or 8. Like they'll be like the bottom, but I think
they'll. I don't know if they'll be 6th, 7th, or 8th probably. Yeah,
I think they'll make it
because they have 17 first round picks to like 2027.
So no, the teams like they'd really be battling with would be like the Spurs, the Grizzlies,
the Pelicans,
and the Pelicans, like those type teams, like those bottom teams. Like, I mean, you got Chris Paul, like who just elevated OKC, like. And he's got Devin Booker, a young guard, a young scorer. So, like, I really think they'll have a shot.
They got DeAndre Ayton, too.
Yeah, like, they should be all right.
They should be all right. And I think with them having 17 first-round picks till, like, 2027, they should be able to build a franchise with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if it'll work with, like, because the thing with Chris Paul is, like, he's a very good player. He's proven, but, like, he has been traded a lot recently. Like, this man was, like, when Clippers, Rockets, Thunder, now he's on the Suns. Like, I don't know if it's, like, him or, like, teams are feeling like maybe he's getting too old. So, like, why would we keep him? I don't know what's going on.
We were talking about it the other day, and I think it's the age. Like, he's 34.
Yeah.
I think. Or is it 34?
But, I mean, there's other players that are
he's up there.
So, it's like.
Yeah, but.
I think Rondo and him are around the same age. I think Rondo's, like, 33.
I think he is too. He just turned down his player option for like $20 million as well.
If that's another player. Like they were saying, if he goes to the Clippers, like he would do it for a legacy move because a lot of people think he's on the edge of being a Hall of Famer because like he has 2 rings like with 2 historic franchises. Don't get me wrong, but like he's never been like, you know what I mean? Like
he's never been what?
He's never been like a regular season guy. Besides when he was in Boston.
But say when he was in Boston, it was cold.
Besides that, but then like
man was mixing people with the broken wrist.
After that, like. I mean, he's kind of been like he's been around the league. Like he's been on a lot of teams recently, and like he like won a ring with the Lakers. Like he definitely, without him, the Lakers probably aren't winning that ring this past year. But I mean, I don't know.
I saw some Vincent Rondo with
I mean, I don't know if I were him. Like, there's options of him going to play with Trae Young in Atlanta. I really don't know how that would work. But
I don't know how that would work
because they move Trae Young to the 2. It's like that man can't play defense at all. So like, you want him guarding these shooting guards? No, absolutely not. But I mean. He could go get money over there because this is like they were saying this could be his last big payday, like because he's getting up in age and like he's shown he just played good with the Lakers, or he can go try and get a 3rd ring with the Clippers, which will be impressive. 3 rings of 3 different franchises. So.
Yeah, and I feel like it would be like you said his last big payday because he just did turn down his player option with the Lakers, and that was like $20 million. So if the Lakers are giving him $20 million,
they get like 30.
Teams,
maybe,
some other team
else.
probably give him like a 2-3 year deal.
Yeah.
For like. $50 million.
Yeah.
Because that in the NBA today, like in today's NBA, 50, 60 million is not a lot anymore.
And they're getting paid. Like, you know, that's so much money. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. But I mean, with all else said, the Bucks also got Drew Holiday and Bogdanovich. So it's like, what does that tell you? To me, that tells me that with Giannis, that they want to maybe keep him because there's rumors that Giannis might go to the Warriors next year.
He doesn't. I heard that. Is that? He doesn't want to stay with the Bucks, right? Was that the report that came out?
I'm not too sure. Like, there's rumors of him wanting to go play for either Dallas or the Warriors. But the Bucks right now are showing that they're trying to surround him with other shooters because Giannis.
They're not a bad team.
They're not. They're good. But like in the playoffs, they're not just like these teams in the playoffs. They're not just going to let him lay the ball.
That's the thing. They play. I feel like they try to run the game around him too much.
Yeah, especially
when they're
playoffs.
A good team.
Yeah,
like a team. They're a good
basketball team.
Yeah, but they play good team ball together.
Yeah, so it's like complementary.
Yeah,
and I think that
and like when they just like I said, when they get away from that, they just try to run everything through him too much, and for one, that causes fatigue because you could like.
You can tell.
Yeah, you can tell he was getting tired.
And it's just like now there's like a blueprint on him. It's like you build that wall around him in the playoffs. Like you force him to take mid-range
shots that he can't make.
It's like, and he can't shoot, and you can just foul him. Like he's shooting 55% from the free throw line. So it's like you can keep doing that.
Yep.
And it's just like you can surround him with shooters. So he either has to know if he can't shoot, he's either got to start using that to his advantage. Especially if they build a wall around him, like kick to these shooters, which is why I think they got him to like start making threes and force teams to like defend their shooters. Or he's got to really, you don't have to, I'm not going to say shoot threes, but he's got to get like a mid-range or something. It's like something to space the floor. Because like right now he really can't space the floor at all. And it's like you kind of know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So.
We're going to take a moment to give a shout out to our sponsors. This ad is brought to you by Anchor. Not the ones you put on your boat.
If you guys haven't heard of Anchor, This is a distributing website that is known for getting your audio out. If you're creative, you want to distribute it to, the bigger sites, Spotify, Apple, Google Play, etc. The main ones. This is the app and website for you.
All you got to do is download anchor.fm for free, either on your browser or on your phone. It's in the App Store. Once you do that, you'll be able to distribute all your audio files to all those platforms.
Anchor also helps monetize and show your viewers and where they're listening from. For example, we have a viewer and listener from Ireland. Didn't know you liked our podcast, but shout out to you. Hopefully you like Conor McGregor. We love him as well over here at Opinionated Podcast. Sir. And with that being said, if you're creative and want to get started, it's super easy to do. It didn't take us that long at all. All we do is upload our audio, description, episodes. You can list them as series, change your artwork, all that stuff, and it'll upload it for you to Spotify, Apple, simultaneously within that day, within the first 24 hours.
Again, all you got to do, anchor.fm for but going back to NBA, because we left off at Giannis, thank you. We found out today that the Sixers made a questionable,
very questionable. That trade was when I read it, I literally just started laughing.
How do you if you're Al Horford? How do you feel though? Like you're getting traded. They're giving up picks for Danny Green.
Yeah, and they're giving
who just got flamed.
Yes,
because
he played
this whole
horrible.
Playoffs.
Yeah, he played horrible. And think about Danny Green. Like, this man just got traded to Oklahoma City. And he's getting shipped again. It's like, you can't even move. It's like, you know what I mean? Might as well just Airbnb it for a little bit. Like, you can't even move. But, I mean, I looked at the trade, and I was just like, to me, that tells me two things. One, Oklahoma City is trying to get off these contracts so they can really give whoever in the next coming off seasons like the super max. I'm talking about like a fat contract.
I don't feel like they have anybody to give like a super max to.
Well, they're gonna have a lot of cap room because they have nobody on the team, and then they have like 1,000 picks, like 1,000 first round picks. So it's like they're hoping that they get somebody, or maybe they're hoping to give somebody a super max and then get another star by trading all these picks away. So who knows what they're about to do? Because like it sounds like they have a plan with all these picks and they don't really care right now what's going on. And, like, the team was good enough. They made the playoffs last year. So, I mean, they're not terrible, right? But then you look at Al Horford, and it's like, how good do people think he is? I mean, like, his own team just literally traded him and a first and a second for Danny Green. And it's like, Danny Green's not that good. So, it's like, Doc Rivers is over there as a coach at the Sixers. So, it's like, I guess he doesn't think he's that good. I don't know. Danny Green's not that good.
I feel like he's a good two-way player. I think I wouldn't give him up for just Danny Green.
Yeah.
Like, and especially him picks, like, for Danny Green.
Yeah.
That's a lot for somebody who didn't have the best performance in the playoffs, for one. For two, all he can do is shoot. He's a good defender. That's because there's talks about him going back to the Spurs. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I would want him just because of his defense, because that's what we lacked this past year was defense. Like, we're like the number one team getting scored on, like points allowed. So I'd take him for defense for sure. But he can't. Obviously, we saw he can't do a layup.
Yeah,
he can't do a layup for one.
And he's missing a lot.
Of corner threes. He can't do a mid-range shot. Yeah. Like, all he can do is just a 3-point shot. Yeah. I mean, I guess the Sixers need more shooting, but I just felt like you could have done something else and give up Al Horford, because that's as much as Joel Embiid gets hurt, and because Al Horford can shoot.
Yeah,
he can mid-range 3-point shooter.
He's a good scorer. He spaces the floor too. And they don't have a lot of shooters.
And Joel can shoot too. And then if you take Joel off that team, if JJ Redick's still on the team,
nah, he's with the Pelicans.
Yeah, I think he's with the since that's off the team.
Jimmy Butler's not there no more.
You really don't have any more shooters because Ben Simmons can't shoot.
No. I really don't know who's all over there, but it doesn't sound like they have any 3-point shooters over there, really.
No. Yeah. I mean, JJ Redick was the last one that I can recall. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Butler as well, but he's gone. He's with the Heat. Joel Embiid, but I mean,
he's never available.
He gets hurt a lot, so it's like you're giving away a person who can score from any range and can play defense for someone who only can make 10, 15% threes.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Not from anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, he can play defense. That's the thing. He's a good defender, but I think they need more shooters than defenders, if anything. I feel like that trade was. I don't know why they did it. I don't know their mindset behind it.
Yeah.
Like we said, it reminded us of the Deandre Hopkins trade to Cardinals, which maybe it'll play out for Al Horford like it did for DeAndre, which went to a better team, and I feel like he's performing better. Well, I feel like he is actually performing better with the Cardinals than he is with the Texans, and maybe he'll perform. I mean, he's already performing good with the Sixers, but maybe I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah,
I weird.
That trade is just I don't know. It's kind of iffy. That was one of the ones I saw. I was just like, okay. One more trade I want to get into before we go into other topics, especially going into NBA draft stuff. I saw Dennis Schroeder got traded to
I didn't see that one.
The Lakers, and that's a
right. Hey, for real?
Yeah,
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, so that's a really big trade. That one weakens OKC more, but at the same time,
no way. When we were talking about them giving a max, I was like, that was the only person I could think of. Maybe not even Gallinari, just him.
Shy Gilgeous-Alexander, because he's the best player low key over there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but no, he went over there. He averaged 18 points a game last year. He was I think he finished in second or third in the sixth man voting last year, and he's an upgrade from what they have. And they're gonna get Avery Bradley back, so the Lakers are actually better.
Yep.
They're actually better, getting Schroeder, and you got someone that it depends on if Rondo what he does, but you still get another point guard in there that if LeBron doesn't want to run, they don't want to run offense through LeBron. And they can run through Schroeder when LeBron's resting or whatever the case may be. And Schroeder's not the production won't dip that much. He's gonna score. He's literally a scorer. So I think that was a good pickup for them.
German engineering.
Yeah, I think that was a good pickup. And I mean, I saw that, and I think that makes the Lakers.
Yeah, I didn't actually
better.
see that one.
Yeah,
damn,
so that's a good trade.
I mean, that just makes their bench that much stronger.
Yeah,
I mean, their bench was not bad to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it makes it that much stronger. I mean, I wouldn't mind having if it went how it went in the playoffs, Kuz and Schroeder coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's not bad
that's
at
nice.
all. Yeah,
that's nice. But going back to trades and what we're talking about, I know you saw that DeAndre Hopkins catch. It's kind of what I did on you back in. I mean, it was only 1-on-1. This guy was 3.
Disclaimer. I underestimated him a little bit. He got me once, but it wasn't that.
Yeah, and I overestimated his speed when I threw you too.
What, Kyler Murray for MVP?
Hey.
I'm just throwing that in there.
Hey.
But we'll talk about that a little bit. But
hey.
Yeah, I just throwing that
in there. I mean, nice.
But
sophomore slump.
Non-existent.
Anyways, yeah, when I saw that catch, even before anybody posted it, I
already know you were because you love receivers and stuff.
Yeah, I instantly thought of Megatron. When he did that against the Bengals, that's what I thought about. And it was just the throw and catch was equally as good because for one, Kyler was about to get hit, and for him to stay that strong and throw the ball, he was at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, he launched. He threw 60 yards.
Yeah,
for him to stay 43. Oh, my bad, 43-yard catch.
For him to stay that strong and knowing he's gonna get hit, and for him to trust his receiver. That says something.
Yeah.
And for him to say, throw me the ball.
He literally waved his hand up.
Yeah. Before he threw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's some trust in your quarterback. So that right there alone shows me for one, they like playing with each other. Pause. Two, they got good chemistry together. Pause.
Got you. Good stuff.
3, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because D-Hop's top 3, in my opinion, receiver
top
in the league.
Top 1 to me right now.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, yeah.
Just right now, yeah.
I would say Julio ain't doing much, but I'm
going to say
he's still capable of being the number 1. They're just doing some.
I don't know what they're doing over there.
Foo-foo over there.
I don't know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Anyways. But yeah, I can see him being number 1. But yeah, that's his first years in Houston, he was doing some
and with no quarterback,
dirty stuff with no quarterbacks.
Yeah,
so for him to have a MVP quarterback,
mm-hmm.
that's if they can keep that going, because the whole team isn't bad.
And they're young. Like, they don't have any experience playing in big games.
Because you have him, Larry, who's always a good security blanket, but still a good, and Christian Kirk.
Andy Isabella. Like, all like those, Andy Isabella and Kyler got drafted in the same year. And then Christian Kirk got drafted, like, maybe a year or two before Kyler got there. So it's like, the team is super young. Like, Kenyon Drake, like, he's showing what he can do as a full-time running back. Like, the team's real young. Like, the defense over there, like, they got.
He wasn't full-time in Miami?
He was, like, towards, like, when he first started playing, and then as soon as he, like, had a productive year, they traded him to the Cardinals. But at first, he wasn't like the back there. But now he's like the back with Cliff in them, and that's all. Oh, there's so much to talk about. But yeah, just him catching that pass on three good DBs like Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. Like, all these dudes are like, they've either been all pros, second team all pros, or Pro Bowl dudes. Like, they're all good, and the Bills defense is good. So for him to catch it on, like, not no average DBs, that right there is just like, that was just crazy to me. I just like,
I was thinking about this today. Like, I thought about that catch, and I was like, I don't know why, but it made me think of Odell's catch.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in my head, almost like,
what one would you say is better?
That's what I was like, is that better than Odell's catch? Like, Odell's catch was impressive, don't get me wrong, but it's like catching over three people
for the game winner.
For one, for the game winner. For two, over three people. For three, over good DBs.
Yeah. It's like up there for at least the catch of the decade. Because, I mean, you look at Odell's catch.
Granted, it's a new decade, but still, it's like Odell's catch was
his
three
catch
fingers,
is like iconic, I think.
Yeah, it was iconic, but
like, I think D-House would be one of those, like, when we're watching NFL films when we have kids, and like they show that, we'll be like showing our kids like this is Deandre Hopkins, like, look what he was doing back when we were watching football. Like, I think it'll be one of those moments, and I think Odell's moment will be still like an all-time historic NFL moment because of just the way it happened. That
was his rookie year too, wasn't it?
Yeah, because he had just came back from like his hamstring injury. It was prime time, Monday Night Football
against the Cowboys.
Everyone was watching against Dallas. Like, everyone's watching. He literally got PI'd. Still caught the ball with three fingers, one-handed it like way behind his head. The angle was like ridiculous, and still scored. So like, I think that catch will still be like more iconic, but I think DeAndre Hopkins' catch is, I would say, the better catch. More important.
Like, both of them with the hand strength for one. Is like, I'm getting deep into this. Like,
yeah.
The amount of hand strength you have to catch it with three fingers.
Well, he has like, he wears a 3XL.
He wears I think DeAndre. I mean,
DeAndre.
Bigger,
both of them.
Like a 6XL. I think
that's
insane.
Something.
Yeah, he has like
one of the biggest hands in the NFL.
But for the hand strength to catch it with three fingers is insane. But also the hand strength to catch it against
and to time
six other hands
and to time it too. You know, because you can't just like
time it,
jump early. You can't jump late. You got to jump at the perfect time because DBs are taught to high point the ball. Granted, in that situation, they need to swipe, try to knock it down, not try to catch it. But still, like, DBs are still taught to high point the ball like a receiver. So like, the fact that he was able to get up over three people and hold on to it.
That's the thing. Like, the hand strength is just insane. Like, six other hands. You catch it over six other hands and bring it down. Like, because if you watch it, he never brings it in.
Yeah.
He's holding it like that the whole
this.
time.
Yes.
He comes down and his elbow hits the ground. He still has it like that. Like, the hand strength, like, is just crazy.
Yeah.
That was like literally the first thing I thought about in my head after I said, damn.
Yeah.
Because I saw it and I was like, damn. And then I was like, and then it just went to like, damn, the hand strength to like catch that ball was insane.
Nuts.
Like, I don't know. Those two, I was just thinking about that. I was like, those two catches were like, damn. Anyways, I know you want to talk about some other stuff.
I'm just like kind of looking down the list. I mean, there's so much to talk about. We can just dive right into like these MVPs. Like, what do you think about that? Because Russell Wilson is declining, as in the last 3 games he's played. I mean, now like you're looking at the NFC West.
I mean, he's declining, but I can't ever count Russell out.
Well, I'm not gonna blame it on him either. Like,
well, I'm just saying I can't ever count him out as in like he's not that good or he's getting too old or he's not getting old, but just like whatever people say like for why people are declining. Like It's Russell at the end of the day.
Yeah, and
like he's proven himself time and time again, game in, game out. Like he's proven himself. So it's like I still think he's an MVP caliber quarterback.
I just don't think he's leading it like he was. That's what I don't think. Because I think now, like, you have Mahomes, who's literally thrown 1 interception all year. A-Rod, who's only thrown 2 interceptions all year. Then they're putting up crazy numbers every game. They're throwing for, like, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Then you got Kyler, who's rushing, throwing. And he's and he's dynamic. So, like, he's like the new kid on the block, kind of how Lamar was last year. And I would probably pit Russell 4. In my opinion, I'd put Russell 4 behind Mahomes, Aaron, and Kyler, then Russell, then Brady. That's what, if I were going to do a top 5.
Mahomes, Aaron, Kyler, Russell, Brady?
Yes. Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Because it's like, you can make an argument for everyone in there. Like, the argument I'd make for Tom is he's been playing with a new team, new system, and even though he's had, like, moments in games where he hasn't looked that great, he bounces back, and, like, they do really well. And he's playing with a completely different team after playing for one franchise for damn near 20 years. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I feel like Kyler could be number 1 if he just threw less picks.
Yeah, but he actually hasn't been turning the ball over as much. It's been more of like the fumbles. And this is because he just runs around with the one hand on the ball.
Like Michael Vick did.
Yeah, so it's been him fumbling. But, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I think the MVP is going to go down to who gets a 1 seed. Because at least the last 2 years, like the Ravens and Chiefs, like when Lamar and Mahomes won the last 2 MVPs, they both were the number 1 seed in their conference. So I think that might factor in just a little bit.
How much do you factor in wins?
To me, it depends. I think if a team is playoff level and they're maybe a top 3 seed and they have like a dynamic player.
Because like, granted, he's hurt, but like Dak.
Yes.
He was having, in my opinion, MVP season.
Yeah, I agree.
But they weren't winning. So that's what I'm asking. Like, how much? Because like if the Bucks start losing or the Seahawks start losing or whatever your name just start losing, do you fault that all on the quarterback or do you take that? Because I'm not a fan of like people like throwing wins into
I just think
conversation just because it's not always 100% their fault. Like with like rings and like Super Bowls,
rings for
NBA
sure,
championships and like World Series. Like I don't like counting that because it's like at the end of the day, it's a team sport,
and you need help. Like all great players have people that help them get those rings.
Yeah,
no matter what.
It's a different sport, but like Mike Trout, for instance, like I don't think he'll ever win a ring as long as he stays in with the Angels.
I think he'd have to go to like a big four.
I still think he's going to be the best player of all time, even though he won't win a ring. Like I don't say this person's better because he has more rings. When I go into arguments, I don't like saying that just because it's not their fault. I mean, yeah, he can leave, but it's like I'm down with people who are loyal to the soil. You know, like Dame. Like he can leave and go somewhere else, but he's loyal. Yeah, I mean, I can't fault people for that. But I was just saying, like, how do you like if these teams start losing, do you take the ranking down since they're losing and like they are the quarterback, so the win is on them? Do you like what? How do you go about that?
I think that's really hard to get into. One, just because winning is so important if you're a valuable player. You know, like you look at Lamar Jackson, like they were winning because of him. Like Kyler, they're winning with him. Like things like that, right? So I would say for Dak's instance,
they weren't losing because the Dak could say that much.
Yeah, but it's just like it still comes to a point that where like it's still going to devalue you, regardless of you putting up numbers. Because then there's going to be arguments of he's only throwing for this much because they have to throw because they're always losing. And it's like you start.
But if you're putting up 35 points a game, how is that your fault though?
Because I mean that's the same thing that's going on with Russell. But now that he's starting to lose games and he's turning the ball over, it's like starting to kind of drop him in rank because you got other quarterbacks that are like winning now and putting up like equally or better numbers. So it's like they're going to get a chance. Then there's also players like that aren't quarterbacks like Dalvin Cook. Like he's been going crazy. Like him and Derrick Henry like rushing the ball. Like Derrick Henry, without him, I don't think the Titans are nowhere near as good as they are. But the Vikings starting to win games now and Kirk being able to throw again, that's big. That's like big on Dalvin Cook. So it's like you got valuable players that don't play the quarterback position but won't get the notoriety that they deserve. Like Christian McCaffrey last year. Like if Lamar didn't have the season he had, like with running and throwing and all that, I really think McCaffrey should have won MVP because he had literally 1,000 yards rushing and receiving And he literally was the Panthers' whole team. They weren't winning, though. That's the problem. It's just like...
And that's not his fault, though. Yeah. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, he had all those receiving yards and then all those rushing yards, and he had the tubs. So it's like... That's why I don't like faulting people for winning and losing. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, with Romo, like, people would always fault him. Like, he'll throw... He wasn't clutch, even though he had the most, like, fourth quarter winning. I think he's second most now. I think somebody passed him. I think Russell passed him, actually. They saying he wasn't clutch, or he always threw picks late in the game. But it's like, when you're throwing 50, 60 times a game, when they know that you have to throw the ball, obviously you're going to be bound to throw a pick somewhere, you know? So it's just hard to fault. In my opinion, it's hard to fault people for, like, winning and losing. Because, I mean, if you're putting up 35, 38 points a game, it's like, how is that your fault? Like, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're getting the team. You're getting the team down there in scoring position, and you're putting up the points. So it's like, not everybody's going to score on every drive. Mm-hmm. But if your defense is getting scored on every drive, or if you scoring every drive, but it's a field goal and they're scoring on almost every drive and it's a touchdown, it's like, I don't know. It's just hard for me to fault, like, wins and losses on, like, quarterbacks or, for instance, Christian McCaffrey on running backs. So I was just seeing where you stood with that.
I mean, like I said, it just depends. Like, you can lose, but you can't lose like the Cowboys were losing. Like, you have to, like...
But that's the thing. It wasn't Dak's fault.
I know, but it's going to matter.
Like, why should that fault him if he was putting up... I don't even think... He was just putting up the yards.
But have you ever seen MVP... Like, but he was putting up yards last year. Like, have you ever seen MVPs, like, win it and on a losing team? Like, you'll never see that. Because you're the MVP.
I feel like that's happened recently, though, with somebody.
You got to at least make the playoffs.
I feel like it's happened recently with somebody that didn't make the playoffs. Like, and I don't know if it was NFL.
I don't think it's ever happened in the NFL, to be honest with you. I don't even think it's happened in basketball either.
I feel like
I feel like the only sport it doesn't really matter in is baseball, just because of how hard it is to win as a team. And like you said, people like Mike Trout and stuff.
Who was like the last three in NFL?
It was
Lamar,
Mahomes, and then I think it was Rodgers. I think maybe.
Who was the last three?
I'll look it up.
Who was the last? Because I don't know. I feel like there's somebody who
I'm telling you,
hasn't won, but like got the MVP.
You have to at least make the playoffs. There's no way you're gonna win it without making the playoffs, because they just won't even factor in. It's like the Heisman. Like, there's people that are really like that's why it was surprising when people like Lamar and stuff won Heisman that year.
NFL?
Yeah. Because it's like, if you're not winning in college,
maybe it was that. Maybe it was the Heisman.
It's probably like Lamar, because he had like 3 or 4 losses when he won the Heisman.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
because that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and it was the Super Bowl MVPs. I don't want to see that. Hold on. Yeah, so it was Lamar, Mahomes, Tom, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton. Like, think about all these teams. Like, Cam Newton went to Super Bowl in 2015. Aaron Rodgers in 2014. Like, he went to playoffs. Peyton, AP. Like, they were really good. The Vikings were. Like, all these people that are winning. Dang, have all been QBs. Like, all these people that were winning. The last running back to win it was AP, and then it was LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006. They were pretty good.
Yeah, because
Sean Alexander, when he was on the Seahawks, he won one. And they went to Super Bowl that year. Like, all these teams have been good. Damn, Peyton Manning has so many MVPs. Bro, he has like 6. I'm like going through his list.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, he's like a regular season.
But maybe it's the Heisman thing. I knew there's some major award that I feel like there's somebody who wasn't a winner,
and that's rare. That's rare now. Like, because now you look at the Heisman. Look at the race.
It might have been Lamar.
But yeah, but like with the Heisman, like look at the race this year. You got. Like, as soon as Spencer lost those 2 games, he was out. But when you look at, like, his PFF and, like, where he's ranked and stuff like that, he's, like, right there with them or doing better. So it's, like, regardless of, like, what the numbers are saying, the voters are still going to be, like, he lost those games. Even though they weren't on his fault. Like, yes, he threw some late picks. And, like, the K-State game, he did throw, like, 3. But against Iowa State, he threw 1. It was, like, a late pick. I'm not going to say it was, like, a good throw. But at the same time, like, you cannot base a loss off of one possession like that, especially at the end of a game. Like, there's so many other things that go wrong in a football game. Like, that's not going to determine a football game. So it's like you got, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence this year,
Mac Jones.
It's like Trevor Lawrence didn't even play against Notre Dame. Not his fault due to COVID-related stuff, but it's like now it's like people are like, oh, he's out the Heisman race. Like, that's not his fault. His numbers are there, but like just certain things, the smallest of things, like will pitch you out of like a MVP Heisman race. You got to literally like have a perfect year. Nothing can go wrong, and you got to have your moments. Like, who knows? Like, if Justin Fields loses this weekend, like, he's probably out of it because you got people like Kyle Trask. He has one loss, but like he's in the SEC, which I think everything is SEC bias. Him and Mac Jones, like, they're gonna shoot up there. So, yeah. I mean, you just really never know with those kind of votes and stuff. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Because like if Trevor Lawrence like comes back, wins out, and just has like no pick, spectacular season, and Mac Jones wins out, like, do you still give it to Mac Jones? Do you give it to Trevor Lawrence?
I feel like
if you were like if it was your vote,
this is the thing,
because I would.
Mac Jones he's gonna. I don't know. The ACC is kind of good this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would give it.
Yeah, because I was gonna say give it to Mac Jones, but like. Because I was going to say because he's running the gauntlet. But when you look at the ACC, like, it's actually pretty good this year. Like, there's ranked teams. Like, there's teams playing good football, like, good records. It's pretty good. Like, the conferences that are down are.
They play Indiana coming up.
Ohio State does. They play this weekend, actually. Upset alert. Get into that later. But.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they play them this weekend.
Well, since we're on the topic of awards for rookie, even though he's came in late, would you put Tua for rookie of the year? Because he's 3-0 with them.
Well, he actually said something today.
He said that it's easier. Yeah. He thought it would be harder he thought the NFL would be harder than what it was, but it's actually easier.
And I'm gonna get into that too. Like, I was listening to the Herd today, and like Colin said a good thing, just saying like Tua saying that because he's never had to deal with like any kind of adversity. Like, people like to dog Baker Mayfield and things like that, but when you look at the Browns and what they've done the last 20 years as a franchise with quarterbacks and just as an organization, they've never been good. They never had any kind of stability at the top, any good coaches, things like that. So yes, regardless if Baker had played bad last year and like they're taking the ball out of his hands this year by running the ball, it's just like that's an organization where it's just like nobody has been successful there. So you can't really look at it. Like, if Lamar went to the Browns, would he be as good as he is now? I don't know. He went to the Ravens, which is a franchise in our lifetime that's always been good. Like, they've always made the playoffs, and they won 2 Super Bowls since 2000. So it's like, I'm not going to say he wouldn't be as good, but it's like a lot easier when you have, the supporting cast around you. When you look at Tua, going back to him, he played at a really good high school in Hawaii that like really never lost. Then he goes to Bama, which is Bama, a juggernaut of college football. Like, they never have any problems. They're always good. He has NFL receivers, linemen, running backs, NFL defense, coaching staff, everyone like NFL caliber people around him. So it's like he doesn't have a struggle there. Then you go to the Dolphins, you get Brian Flores, who had a terrible team last year. I'm talking about like a team was not good at all. And
they turned around this year.
And they turned around, and they were competitive when they didn't have Tua. Then they get Fitzpatrick, and they're winning with him. Then they throw Tua in there, and it's like they're winning with him. Like, yeah, he hasn't turned the ball over and stuff like that. But I would definitely say he's a product of having help around him. And that's why, to me, when you look at other rookies like Joe Burrow, Herbert, people like that are in, like, dysfunctional organizations, especially Joe Burrow. Like, he's one of those people, like, bro, he's putting up really good numbers. And, like, his team is really not good. And he is at least making the Bengals entertaining. Like, and he's playing really well. And then Herbert, too, like, they can't find a way to win. Like, they'll be winning, and then they'll just lose.
The same with the Bengals.
Yeah, and it's just like they can't find a way to win. So it's like, to me, what Tua is doing is impressive, but like the first game, the defense won it for him. Like, he didn't play that well. And then it's like you got Herbert, who's literally, dude, I think Herbert's like third in the NFL in passing yards per game. I think he's averaging like 313 a game as a rookie.
For real?
Yeah, I saw the stat, and I was just like,
I know he was balling. I didn't know he was balling like that.
Yeah, he's just like, he's playing super good. So it's like,
for him to just get thrown to the Wolves too, literally, like literally, and his first game.
And he's been playing. I would say like Tua hasn't been playing long enough. Now the thing is though that what Tua might have over these other quarterbacks, the Dolphins are projected to make the playoffs now. So if Tua keeps playing well, not turning the ball over like he's doing, they make the playoffs. Say that even if they lose in the first game, it's like people are going to be like, oh, they made the playoffs with Tua. And, like, he is kind of like, I'm not going to say he's been playing better than Fitzpatrick, but he has definitely sparked the team. It's like it's a young player. Like,
I think that's why, though, because he's young.
Yeah.
Heisman. They win the Heisman?
No, he lost
but he won the Natty.
Yeah.
And it's like coming from Alabama,
and it's
doing
like,
what he did over there.
For you and me, we want to watch him. Like, we're watching Sunday Ticket. Like, we weren't going to turn the Dolphins on, but now, like, he's playing for them. So, like, we'll turn them on and, like, look at it. So it's just entertaining. And, like, this rookie class is actually really, really good when you look at, like, the QBs, the receivers, the linemen, too. Like, DBs. Like, everyone's really good. So, it's like, and that goes back on what we were saying, like, a couple episodes ago. Like, these quarterbacks are coming out of high school and college just ready to go. Like, you never seen that before. Nowadays, you used to have to sit quarterbacks and stuff like that. Now you can just throw them in. And actually want to talk about, like, there's quarterbacks and there's, like, NFL positions this year that are, like, they're kind of iffy on the QB situation. And this year you got a lot of quarterbacks that are probably going to come out. You got Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson. I don't know.
I'm going to say, do you think Zach Wilson's like that, though?
I mean, the stats are showing he is, and it's also shown that, like, you got to think about it. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that went to smaller schools and are good still. Because, like,
Josh Allen.
Yeah, because they're, like, playing with good NFL talent.
But where did boy from Giants go? Jones.
Duke. It's not a football school. Yeah. So it's like,
yeah.
They got Trask, Mac Jones. Like, they're coming out too. So it's like, if you're a team, and that's another thing with Tua too, going back to him, like, they had the 5th pick, so it's like, we can start him, and if he doesn't play well, but he's like, we can still trade for him. Like, Josh Rosen, like, the Cardinals got a first for Josh Rosen. So, like, I feel
bad for that guy.
You definitely get a first for Tua, and, like, now they're even saying, like, if the Jets draft Trevor Lawrence, like, you can get a second at least for Sam Darnold, because, like, he is talented, but his team is terrible. So it's like, if you're in that position to draft Trevor Lawrence, you're going to do it.
It's just weird with him because, like, at times he shows
talent,
what he can do, and then
times he just plays terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's just with coaching and just organization. Like, if he went to a team like the 49ers, who knows what they're doing with their quarterback situation with Jimmy Garoppolo, it looks kind of, like, sketchy up there. If he went to, like, Kyle Shanahan, maybe sat for, like, a year or two, you know, he could be good there.
I would not be opposed to him right on the bench for Chiefs either.
That's it. Well,
with Andy Dalton,
but he would.
I mean, not Andy Reid.
Yeah, but he would never play though, because Mahomes.
I mean, he still gets to learn from him though. That's like the big thing with playing. Like, playing is just learning. Like, Aaron, I wouldn't think Aaron Rodgers would be that good if it wasn't for Brett Favre.
Yeah, but it's like they're both so young. Like, I think Mahomes was like the draft class.
But you don't even necessarily have to keep them for long.
Yeah, but that's why I said, like, a team like the 49ers, because it's like, if I'm a team like the 49ers.
Even Josh Rosen go sit the bench for the Chiefs and learn under Andy Reid and learn under Mahomes.
The sad part about him, I think his career is done. Like, it sucks because I think he's good and stuff, but people say, like, he doesn't, like, they don't gravitate to, like, players don't gravitate to him well. Like, they don't.
I don't think he's got the chance.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think he's got the chance.
I agree.
I mean, if you look what he did at UCLA, it wasn't bad. Now, it wasn't the greatest, but it still wasn't bad. I mean, he still put up yards, still put up numbers.
He's like a smart quarterback. He's like a board guy. Like, he can, like, there's like a show on YouTube or like ESPN where before John Gruden wasn't a coach, he would, like, get the top quarterback prospects and sit them in a room and, like, go through film with them. And, like, John Gruden even said, like, Josh Rosen, like, I'm impressed by him. Like, he knows everything. He knows all his reads, like, up front. Like, he knows what he's doing, and he has, like, good arm talent. But I just think it was injuries and just, like, I think he's one of those people that are too smart. Like, you know, like, when someone's, like, too smart and it's, like, you feel like you can't teach them anything. Like, as a coach, it's, like, probably can't teach him anything. And he probably thinks he knows everything. So it's, like, a lot of those people, like, if they can't change, like, their mentality to be coach, it's kind of hard to get to them. It's, like, that might be the case with him. But anyways, going back with, like, just these QBs coming out and, like, these teams, like, you got, like, I'm trying to think of teams that, like, can move off a quarterback. Like, the Falcons. Like,
for sure.
Like, Matt Ryan isn't bad.
You know me, I've never been a Matt Ryan fan. Like, you always bring up his MVP, but I'm just like, I don't know, bro.
like them, the Bears for sure. Like they've already shown they're done with Trubisky, but like Nick Foles, is he really the guy? I don't think so. Then you got the Jags. Then you got the Vikings. Like think about like you see how good the Vikings are. Like how talented that team is. Like Thielen, Colts. Who else? Like they were saying that same thing with the Raiders, but Derek Carr's been eaten, so I don't think that's changing now.
I would still say the Bucs.
Well, yeah, because Tom Brady's old. The Saints for sure. Like
Saints.
Like now, like this. Well, this is another thing. We'll talk about this later, but
maybe the Giants. Maybe the Redskins.
Giants, maybe the Redskins for sure. I think. Because like I'm gonna say like the Redskins, if Trask or Mac Jones there, I'm drafting them for sure because their defense is fine. Or I'm getting linemen or more weapons. But I mean, Alex Smith, can you really trust him? I mean, he just came back off a crazy injury. Dwayne Haskins looks like they don't even mess with him at all over there. Like they need to trade him. And then Kyle Allen is trash, so we're not gonna talk about him. But
Dwayne Haskins' problem again was the same problem in college that I pointed out. He doesn't run the damn ball.
And he's just not mobile though.
If you have 15 yards of green in front of you and you're still sitting in the pocket just to throw the ball, it don't matter if you're mobile or not. Get some yards.
I think he's talented. That
was his problem at Ohio State. He literally just always sat in the pocket.
Yeah, but he threw 50 touchdowns though.
Yeah, but if you have opportunity to get yards, that only looks better on you.
Yeah,
that's only gonna. I mean, yeah, he still went high. He actually dropped because he actually thought he was gonna go higher than he was.
I think now you got to be.
But athletic. If he was able to get some more rushing yards on his resume, to me that makes a difference.
I think
because it shows that you're a mobile quarterback. I mean, they might have been empty yards where it was 10 yards, you got a first down, but it's still adding stuff on to your resume. So it's like I feel like that's his problem.
Well, I just think you got to be somewhat mobile.
And it's like you have to be somewhat mobile because if you just sit back there the whole time, they know you're gonna throw the damn ball.
And that statue quarterback play is kind of like if you look at all these rookies that have came in, they've all been athletic. Even Daniel Jones, like he's kind of fast. Like I saw, like he fumbled a couple of weeks ago against he fell a couple of weeks ago against the Eagles. But then like they played the Eagles again this past weekend, and he had like a 34-yard rush, and it was just like you got to be somewhat fast now because it's like. If you, like,
I don't even say you have to be fast; you just have to be mobile.
Yeah, just you got to be able to move around. You just can't be a statue like the Peyton Manning days.
Even then, like Tom Brady still runs.
Yeah, around. Yeah.
I mean, he'll run for. I mean, Randy might be 3 yards, but at least he still escapes the pocket and runs.
Yeah.
So it's like if teams know you're just gonna throw the ball, then
the Steelers are gonna need a quarterback too.
Oh yeah,
and that's talking about them. They are the only undefeated team in the NFL. Now I'm getting some backlash from my boy Josh Quaylar about the Steelers and why aren't they ahead of the Chiefs, right? But I wanted to touch on something with the Steelers. Mike Tomlin might go down as one of the best coaches ever, easily. He's never had a losing season ever. You know, he's always been 8-8 at worst, and he's won a Super Bowl. The only thing that I think people will talk about for Mike Tomlin is the fact that he didn't win a Super Bowl with Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon, and Antonio Brown just because of how talented they were at the time for their position. They were all arguably the best at their position at the time. So it's like you had them and you didn't win a Super Bowl with them. But at the end of the day, like last year with Duck Hodges, like who is Duck Hodges? He's winning 8 games, maybe making the playoffs. This year they're undefeated. Like they're in a really, to be honest, like the division is not easy. Like the Bengals aren't good, but like that's a team that like,
they still put up points.
They still put up points and they're challenging. Then the Ravens are good, like they're really good, and then like the Browns.
The Browns are now.
They're decent.
I don't know. It depends on what kind of Baker Mayfield you get. To be honest, in my opinion, but they depends. they can put up points.
And it depends on.
And they play them. They actually play the Steelers really really good.
Yeah. So I mean, like I just want to give like praise to him because like. But a thing that was being said, like somebody was like said like he's one of the best like black coaches, and Mike Tomlin was like, no, like I want to be recognized as one of the best coaches because like, yeah, he is a black coach, and to me, he's the best black coach ever, like easily. But I mean, when you look at Mike Tomlin and like what he's done, like he's gonna have to start getting compared to the Bill Belichick's, the Andy Reid's, etc. Just regardless with the Super Bowls, he has his one ring. So I mean. And like the Steelers they don't really move off coaches like that. Like, you know, they've only had 3 coaches since like 1990.
For real?
Yeah, like they don't really they always have stability.
That's why they're good.
So like
that's why they're a dominant Like when you know the Steelers, like when you think of the Steelers, you think of history, basically.
So it's just like when you look at that, you know, I want to give him his props just because like he's a really, really, really good coach, and like I don't think it's talked about like when people talk about these great coaches, like I don't think his name's brought up enough, and especially what he's been able to do with, you know, not having good teams and stuff like that. Like I think if they got like, you know, like if they got lucky and like a Mac Jones or a Trask fell to them, and I don't know, they could be something with that.
We're gonna see next year, but you might have to take Bill Belichick's name off that because it might be more of Tom Brady than it was Bill Belichick. And yeah, Bill Belichick was the coach and he has the rings, but it's like now he has a new team.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
The thing is, like, Bill Belichick
and then like Tom Brady went to a new team. What is he doing?
Bill Belichick said like they bet the farm that last Super Bowl they won, like the last couple Super Bowls they had. He said they like bet the farm on that, so they had no players to get. But it's like when you look at who the Patriots like have drafted, they have never really drafted well. Like they've never really drafted receivers well. They never really drafted tight ends well. Like they never really drafted anybody well. Like the only reason they've normally been good is because they get a lot of people's trash and they make it good. Like they get a lot of free agents, and that's like what Bill Belichick wants to do because he's like one of those coaches that's like, look, I got one of your players that weren't good or maybe off waivers or practice squad, and I made him into a Pro Bowl guy, and he like likes taking credit for that. Which so like he is a great coach, but it's like at the same time like this starting to show like they have no weapons over there.
None.
And like people are talking about like Cam Newton's playing stuff, and like Cam Newton's mad at himself, but like one, Cam isn't healthy. He's not 100%. Like yes, he's healthy, but there's a difference between like getting healthy and then training. Like when you're rehabbing to get back, like you're not trying to train, you're like trying to just get normal. So like he did that, got normal, but like we'll really see a real Cam Newton, I think, when he is like after a year of off season, when he's able to train and stuff like properly. I really think we'll see like what Cam Newton still is. And it's like he only signed a 1 year at the Pats, so it's like I want Cam hopefully to do well enough.
I want him to stay in the league.
Yeah, I want him to do well enough to at least get another contract with the Pats, and maybe they draft somebody this year, like another QB or something like that, and like he like is the guy for this year. But I mean, like I said, the only reason Bill's name is going to be in there is because like he played with Tom. But like if Tom wins a Super Bowl this year with the Bucs, first year is like
I don't think they win a Super Bowl.
I don't either. I don't think they'll go.
I could see them losing the first round. That's just me.
It depends who they play. They play someone out the NFC East. whoever makes it out of there is getting destroyed by whoever they play.
Well, it won't be us. Stay that much.
The only team, honestly, the best team in there, to me, is the Giants. Like, if you look at all their losses and stuff, like I've never seen a good 2-6, 2-7 team. Like they play good football. They just don't win yet. But like, I think that's the best team because like the Eagles are like all over the place. They're always hurt. Like Doug Peterson is like, I think his coaching is lacking. Then you got like the Cowboys are a complete mess. Like,
yeah, get on my boy, man.
Like I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on over there. And then the Redskins.
Oh no, I think that Dak injury really hurt them.
Well, that
like
is just, their team
like
isn't good. Like
how much did it affect your team when your starting quarterback went out? Like how was y'all's morale from when he was in to when he went out? Like when you saw him get hurt, how much did the morale change?
Well, we've had a bunch of QB injuries when I was playing. I'm gonna start off my sophomore year with Bo.
Just your starting quarterback in general. Like how much does that take a toll on the team?
It just depends on who you. If you know, it depends.
Like if you know you can win with that guy,
yeah.
Which the quarterback y'all had, y'all could win with them. How much does that like knowing like when the next guy comes in?
It just depends on how capable the backup is. So like with Dak's injury, like it was big, but I don't think it was that huge because like Andy Dalton had averaged 10 wins his first 6 years in the NFL. Like he's been to the Pro Bowl, he's been to the playoffs. Like he's seasoned vet, like he's good. Like he's a good quarterback, like good enough. Like he's above average backup easily. Like he's really a starter, like borderline starter, borderline backup. So like for the Cowboys, I think it hurt, but at the same time, when you're like when you're on that team, you're like, okay, we still got Andy Dalton, like we still got a capable guy. But then when he got hurt, then it was just a complete mess because it's like they had
he's back this week though.
They had to bring in Garrett Gilbert, and then they had that one dude play against the Eagles. What was his name?
Vinatucci or something like that.
Like, who is that?
That's Coach V from Pflugerville. It was been something.
Yeah.
He actually got drafted this year from.
It was some small.
It was a small school like James Madison or something like that.
So
it was something like that. But he actually got drafted this year. He was a rookie this year. But yeah, I don't know who's gonna make it out the East. But
if you had a projection to give me, who would you say?
The Eagles. Just because they're the most
they're the best team on paper, but honestly,
I mean, the Cowboys are the best team on paper.
Them too. Yeah. Honestly, what I've seen, I think the Giants could go, especially because the
Eagles have the team to go, and
that's
they
who I'm
they have
the Giants.
they have the
them or the Redskins. One of those two.
Do you think the Redskins will go?
Just because of how well Alex Smith is starting to play, and they got a good coach. Ron Rivera's a good coach.
He's a good coach. I just don't think they have a team to go.
I think the Eagles are going to self-destruct, to be honest. They play the Browns this weekend, and I think the Browns are going to beat them, and then I think they're going to start self-destructing. And then with the Cowboys, I think a lot of people on the Cowboys are just playing for contracts. At the end of the day, you're an NFL professional, and if you don't perform, you will get replaced. And but if you do perform, you can get a contract. Look at Heath. Remember him? He just had 2 picks
But Andy
last
Dawson
week.
has if he wins the Super Bowl, here's an incentive. If he wins the Super Bowl, he gets an extra $5 million. So why would you not that's a lot of money.
No, I'm saying they're gonna try though. That's what I'm saying. Because
I thought you meant they're not gonna try.
Because
they're just gonna try to perform be like me players.
Say
basically.
if you're a starter, but you're not in the long term plans. Most of the time when you're playing the NFL, you're really trying to play for that next contract. Look at Heath, for example. He's on the Raiders now. He used this with Dallas last year, but he did good enough to get picked up by John Gruden. He got picked up, and now he's doing pretty good. He had 2 picks last week.
I don't like him,
but it's
I don't like him.
It's but still, he was decent enough to get a job. So it's these people are still
he played the reason he is good because he plays with a lot of heart. That's one thing I did respect about him. I didn't think he was a good safety at all, but he played with a lot of heart, and he gave you 100%, 110% on every play. That's I can respect that about him, and that's why he got picked up. He didn't care who you were. He didn't care who you were. He was a guy that just wanted to play.
Yeah.
So that's why he got picked up. He's not very good.
But I mean, that division, I don't know. That's probably it for NFL.
Well, I just want
we want to talk about anything else?
One last topic before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Antonio Brown?
Oh,
because that thing came up today as he destroyed. Was it police?
Yeah, but I think
or was it his residential?
He wasn't
thing?
Found guilty though. I think it was just.
Well, they didn't press charges.
Yeah,
was
that's
the thing.
what it was. Yeah,
they didn't press charges, but it's from what has happened in the past, I feel you just can't do that. It was police surveillance, right?
Yeah.
Or was it the subdivision surveillance?
Something like that. But I want to talk about that for I'm definitely glad you brought that up because I think with him, with any celebrity, why is that just now getting brought up? With all the other stuff that he had done, why is that just now getting brought up? After he had actually not been in the news for a while, he hadn't been talked about, things like that. He shows up to Tampa. They play terrible against the Saints because they're trying to feed him the ball. And Brady, I can imagine playing a quarterback with all those weapons. You're gonna be hearing everyone's mouth bro, give me the ball, I'm open, stuff like that. So
and he's a person who you want to give him the
want
ball because of who he is and what he's done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's you want to give Mike Evans the ball because of what he's done.
And then Godwin last
year.
You got Gronk. And
yep.
You got 2
Cameron
good running
Brate.
backs.
So it's But it's at the same time, it's I can throw to anybody. Why do I have to pick?
Yeah.
But I feel everybody's gonna get their numbers. I feel in the NFL, it's easier for everybody to get their stats than it is in the NBA. But why isn't him training getting surfaced? Why?
And that's exactly what.
I don't understand why that's getting surfaced. Not him training or him working out for whatever team or what he did with whatever team during the workout.
Or even what he did last week. He played, he had a couple catches and he played good and he's been quiet. He looked calm, under control. He didn't look like he was playing with high emotion and things like that. So it's you're going to bring in something that might have happened maybe in the summer or a long time ago, right when he's back in the league. And it's just I hate stuff like that for any kind of athlete or person.
But I just feel he does it to himself though.
Yeah, but even if he did, like I said, why is this just now getting brought up right when he just now gets back in the league? The timing of that, come on.
Would it have been better if it got brought up before that, though?
Probably not. But at the same time, like, who decides to surface that information? You know, like, it wasn't like, think about it like this.
Before you say that, it's you have to look at what he's done in the past, though.
Yeah,
if he's done stuff like this in the past, which he has, obviously somebody's gonna bring it up because he's literally doing this to himself, and they're like, "Oh, he's doing this again."
But still, like,
look
the timing
what he's doing
is so odd, though. It's just like, all right, come on. Like, I feel like we'd already heard about this because if he would have did it recently, like, would he be on? You know what I mean? I just feel like it's one of those things that someone just brought it up to try to like.
But that's what I said. Like, oh, he's doing this again. It's showing what he's doing this again. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but it could have
when you do stuff like that in the past, and you've done it multiple times, people are just gonna keep bringing it up.
But the thing is, this could have happened when he was going through all that other stuff. Like, he could have done that while he was doing all that other stuff, and then like this could have just been other information to a puzzle that's just now getting brought out. And it's like that's like me like 2 years ago, like breaking into a car or something, and then like, you know, like I'm like I get like a good job somewhere, and then it's like someone's like, oh yeah, he broke into a car 2 years ago. Like, it's just something like that. Like, right when you're at a highlight of your life again, like, someone's gonna throw up something that might not even matter anymore. And that's how I'm looking at it. Like, why is it getting brought up now when they didn't even press charges? Like come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I'm looking at it.
I don't know. I feel like that's hard. Huh?
That's not a good analogy.
Yeah, that's hard because if you break into a car 2 years, like, but think about this. As an employer,
yes,
like, when you hear about that, you're like, is he gonna steal something from like us? Like, I mean, in the NFL might be different, but it's all right. I mean, yeah, he has the money to pay for it, but it's like, all right. I mean, just for analogy wise, how many footballs is he gonna take? Like, yeah, he can afford them, but like, how many jerseys is he gonna steal? How many helmets?
But they already asked these questions because he had already been a problem with 3 different organizations.
But when you brought up when you get employed and it came up 2 years ago, that comes to their mind.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's 2 years ago, and like, you might be a different person. They don't know that. They just know that they get this report that you broke into a car 2 years ago, and then you maybe went to jail, and then they're like, then they start like, what is he going to take from us? This is what I'm talking about. Is he going to take this computer? Is he going to steal this? Like, is he going to do it again? Is he going to end up in jail again? It's like stuff like this. So it's like,
it's just the timing is just very odd because it's like he's back in the league, and it's like, if he did this, it should have been surfaced. And it's like these NFL teams already know like the person he is. Like, they already knew the person he is. And it's like now after he played 2 games already, now it's being talked about. And it's like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's just the timing is odd. That's literally just like, okay, maybe the analogy wasn't good, but that's like maybe, you know what I mean? It's like you getting like,
he's a celebrity.
Like, but still, it's just
like, it always happens to celebrities.
And that's what I'm saying. That they just do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Just to create a story. Like, it has nothing to do with, like, we know what the kind of person he was or is or whatever, but it's like,
got to get paid, right?
But it's like, yeah, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, come on, like, if this was really that important, we would already know. And that's how
person got to get paid, right?
Yeah, that's how I'm
he himself already said he didn't need the NFL. The NFL need him, so it's like, all right, I'm just gonna throw this out there then.
Well, that fool learned the hard way because, I mean, it took him a minute to get picked up. We also had other allegations that needed to get cleared, but
yeah. Anyways, that'll do it for this long. There's just a lot of stuff to cover. I'm sorry it was so long.
It's going to be like this. I mean, I don't even think it was that long. I think it's probably like an hour like our last one. Maybe like an hour. Like,
maybe, yeah.
That's fine. I mean,
I felt like it was like forever long, but I feel like there's just so much stuff to talk about.
That's how I felt about the last one. We just cover so much stuff. So, that's cool.
I mean, I'm rocking with it. Yeah. It's fun talking. Yeah. Anyways, that'll do it for this episode of Opinionated Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything to say?
No,
I don't care if you have anything to say. If you have any comments, make sure down below. Make sure to subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe. I can't talk. Subscribe to YouTube. Hit that like button. Turn on the post notifications. If you're not following us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Like our page on Facebook. Make sure to stay tuned on all the social medias just for, when we're dropping episodes, when content's going out. You never know. We might throw some surprises in there every now and then. So just make sure you're just keeping your eye open and you're keen. So,
alrighty. Well, that'll do it for your boys. We'll see you on the next one.